Hey, hi, hello there, and welcome back to Formula Amateur, where today we'll be talking all about the Austrian Grand Prix in Spielberg on the Red Bull Ring. So let's get going, shall we? So let's start off with FP1, where we had two drivers being replaced by F2 drivers as part of the regulation by the FIA to give an opportunity for younger drivers to experience what it's like to drive a Formula One car. So we had Dino Bogdanovic driving in for Charles Leclerc, and we had Alex Dunn driving in for Lando Norris. So let's start off with, in 20th position, we had Oliver Behrman, who did 30 laps. Then we had Esteban Ocon with 32 laps in 19th. Dino Bogdanovic with 32 laps, and he was in 18th. Yuki Tsunoda with 30 laps in 17th. Franco Colapinto with 34 laps in 16th. And then Liam Lawson with 34 laps in 15th. And then Alonso with 32 laps in 14th. Stroll with 32 laps in 13th. Hulkenberg with 32 laps in 12th. Antonelli with 35 laps in 11th. Hadjar with 33 laps in 10th. Hamilton with 20 laps in 9th. He was having some issues. Ferrari was not having a good time in FP1. So Hamilton did have a lot less than others. He was in 9th. Then Sainz had 33 laps and he was in 8th. Albon was the 7th fastest with 35 laps. Bortoleto with 35 laps in 6th. And then Gasly with 34 laps in 5th. Alex Dunn with 29 laps in 4th. And then Piastri with 33 laps in 3rd. Verstappen with 30 laps in 2nd. And then Russell with 34 laps in 1st. And please ignore the fact that I mentioned some people's full names and others I only mentioned their last names. But sometimes it goes like that when you forget along the way. So let's go into FP2, shall we? On to FP2, where we have everyone else back on the grid. So in 20th, we had Colapinto with 34 laps. He dropped 4 positions. Hulkenberg with 35 laps in 19th. He dropped 7 positions. Behrman gained 2 positions in 18th with 35 laps. And then we had Carlos Sainz with 37 laps in 17th. He dropped 9 positions. Albon with 37 as well in 16th, he dropped 9 positions. And then Ocon in 15th with 31 laps, and he gained 4 positions. Gasly in 14th with 36 laps, he lost 9 positions. Hadjar with 34 laps in 13th, he lost 3 positions. Lawson with 31 laps in 12th, he gained 3 positions. Antonelli with 35 laps stayed in 11th, and then Hamilton with 34 laps, he lost 1 place in 10th. Alonso with 31 laps in 9th, he gained 5 positions. And then Bortoleto with 31 laps, he dropped by 2 into 8th. And then Tsunoda with 31 laps, he gained 11 places in 7th. Russell with 34 laps, he lost 5 places in 6th. Leclerc with 32 laps, he gained 13, even though he did not take part in the FP1 session, but he gained 13 from where Bogdanovic ended up with in 5th. And then Stroll did 32 laps, he gained 9 positions in 4th. And then Verstappen did 24 laps, he lost 1 position and he was in 3rd. Piastri did 35 laps, he was in 2nd and gained 1 position. And then Norris, although he did not take part in FP1, he gained 3 positions from where Alex Dunn ended up, and he finished in 1st. So let's get on to FP3. On to FP3 now, and throughout these sessions for the first practices, we did see a few spins here and there, but nobody really had any massive incidents. But we'll get on to qualifying and the race where things kicked off there. But let's start with FP3, and in 20th positions we had Hadjar with 18 laps and he lost 7 positions. In 19th we had Colapinto with 26 laps, he gained 1 position. In 18th we had Ocon with 21 laps, he lost 3 positions. In 17th we had Gasly with 26 laps and he lost 3 positions. Behrman did 21 laps, he gained 2 positions and he was in 16th. Sainz gained 2 positions, he did 21 laps and was in 15th. Albon gained 2 positions as well, he did 22 laps and was in 14th. And then Hulkenberg was in 13th and he did 18 laps and gained 6 positions. Alonso did 21 laps. He ended up in 12th, losing 3 positions. Lawson did 19 laps. He was 11th and gained 1 position. Bortoleto did 18 laps, losing 2 positions in 10th. And then Tsunoda did 17 laps, losing 2 positions and was in 9th. Stroll did 20 laps, losing 4 positions and was in 8th. Antonelli did 18 laps, gaining 4 positions and was in 7th. Russell did 18 laps and stayed in 6th. Hamilton did 23 laps, gained 5 positions and was in 5th. Leclerc did 20 laps, gained 1 position and was in 4th. Verstappen did 28 laps and stayed in 3rd. Piastri did 20 laps and stayed in 2nd. And then Norris did 21 laps and stayed in 1st. So let's get into qualifying, shall we? On to qualifying now, where it did not look great for the Williams team specifically, but let's have a look. So in 20th position we had Hülkenberg losing 7 positions, and then Sainz losing 4 positions in qualifying 19th, and then we had Tsunoda losing 9 positions in 18th, Ocon being in 17th, gaining 1 position, Stroll losing 8 positions in 16th, and then in Q2 we lost Behrman. He qualified in 15th, gaining 1 position. Colapinto gained 6 positions in 14th. Hadjar gained 7 positions and he qualified 13th. Albon gained 2 positions and was in 12th. And then Alonso gained 1 position and qualified 11th. And then on to the top 10, where it was quite chaotic as a result of the fact that Gasly, who qualified 10th and gained 7 positions, spun within the last 30 seconds of qualifying, which affected Verstappen being able to complete his quali lap, and Piastri also not being able to start his on time. So as a result, as I said, Gasly qualified 10th, gaining 7 positions. Antonelli lost 2 positions and qualified 9th, and then Bortoleto gained 2 positions, qualified 8th, and then Verstappen lost 4 positions and qualified 7th. Lawson gained 5 positions, qualified 6th. Russell gained 1 position, qualified 5th. Hamilton gained 1 position, qualified 4th. Piastri lost 1 position and qualified in 3rd. Leclerc gained 2 positions and qualified 2nd, and Norris stayed in 1st. Norris had a very good weekend in comparison to how Canada went for him 2 weeks ago. And now let's get on to the actual race, where quite a lot happened in the very beginning and it was a tight fight for the win. On to the chaotic race, which started off chaotic, kept us on the edge of the seat right till the end. So we started off with Carlos Sainz not starting the race, so he lost 1 position in 20th. That was because he was stuck in 1st gear at the formation lap, and then once his car got going, he had to return to the back of the pack whilst everyone was waiting for him, and then he was meant to start from the pit lane. As a result, when he got to the pit lane, his brakes caught on fire and they could not stop the fire coming for ages. So the race was delayed by 10 minutes as a result, just to try and get him off track, but also to be able to calm the flames coming in from there. And what I didn't mention as well, but I will mention in the side stuff if I can remember, there was also issues with Hamilton and fire as well, but that was the only person who did not start the race. And then we had Antonelli in 19th because he did not finish, as he crashed into Max Verstappen. So both of them had a DNF. They did not finish the race. They barely just started it. So Antonelli lost 10 positions, finished in 19th. Verstappen lost 11 positions and finished in 18th. And this was the first time in 31 races that Max Verstappen was not able to finish a race. Last time that he did that was when his brakes caught on fire during the Australian Grand Prix in 2024. And now we are on to 17th, which was Albon. He did not finish because very early on in the race he had to retire the car due to some sort of issue going on with the car, so he lost 5 positions. And then Tsunoda finished last in the race in 16th. He had a 10-second penalty after slightly crashing into Colapinto, but he did gain 2 positions from where he qualified. And then Colapinto had a 5-second penalty as well, and he finished in 15th, losing 1 position when he did not notice Oscar Piastri, who was trying to lap him, and as a result almost crashed into him by veering him off the road. And then Piastri did make a comment saying, even after all these years, Alpine are still messing around with him because Alpine was the team that Oscar was part of as a reserve in 2022, and there was a lot of kerfuffle when Alpine revealed that Oscar signed a contract with them for 2023 when in fact he hadn't, and in fact he had actually signed a contract for McLaren and started driving for McLaren in 2023. So then we have Stroll in 14th, he gained 2 positions, Gasly lost 3 positions and was in 13th, and then Hadjar gained 1 position, he finished in 12th, Ollie Behrman finished in 11th, gaining 4 positions, Ocon was in the first points position, finishing in 10th, gaining 7 positions. Hulkenberg had a miraculous race, starting in 20th, finishing in 9th, gaining 11 positions. Bortoletto finally in the points. He did not gain any positions, but he did not lose any. He stayed in 8th after many times trying to pass Alonso, and Alonso finishing in 7th, so points for him once again. He gained 4 positions and he was constantly fighting to be able to pass Lawson, but Lawson wasn't having it. Lawson finished in 6th as well. It was a brilliant weekend for him. He did not gain any positions, he did not lose any positions, and then Russell stayed in 5th as well, and then Hamilton finished in 4th where he started, so he didn't gain or lose anything. Leclerc, though, he finished in 3rd. He lost his position almost immediately after the start of the race and could not gain back. McLaren were way ahead of everyone else. I believe Leclerc was at least 13 seconds behind Piastri, who was in 2nd. He gained 1 position and finished in 2nd, and then Norris won the race, so a brilliant weekend for Norris. And now let's get on to the side stuff, where we'll be talking about the Hamilton Fire, the Drivers' Championship, and the Teams' Championship, the Constructors. So let's get on to that one, shall we? Okay, on to the side stuff, where we will first start talking about that fire with Hamilton. So what happened was his skid blocks, which are on the bottom of the car, they sparked up when he hit a curb, and then a fire billowed out due to the dry heat in the Austrian mountains, and the grass being really dehydrated, and as a result the grass caught on fire. So during one of the qualifying sessions they had to red flag it while they were managing the grass fire, just like we had in Japan. So that took a while, but because it was quali, they were able to pause the session until everything was sorted out, whereas if it was an FP1, 2 or 3 session, that would have gotten into the time that was allocated for the session. But with quali they are allowed to pause it and resume whenever time allows. So yes, now it seems like the FIA needs to have a discussion about potentially changing the material that the skid blocks are made so they do not spark up. They're currently made of titanium, but apparently when they are using steel skid blocks, then these things don't happen as much. That's what has been said on the broadcast, but I'm not sure. Maybe there are other ways, perhaps just ensuring that the grass is always kept up with in terms of extreme heat conditions, so that things don't catch fire. That would also be nice. Invest in sprinkler systems that are obviously taken out in some way to not cause any danger during races, but that the grass is still kept up with, so it doesn't look as dead, but who knows what can be done there. But now let's get on to the Drivers' Championship. So Oscar Piastri is still in first position, but he has now 216 points, and with Norris finishing in first, the gap between them has closed in once again. So there was a 22-point gap, now there is a 15-point gap. So Norris has 201 points. Verstappen, because he had the DNF, did not gain any points, so he still remains in third position, but is now very far behind the likes of Piastri and Norris. He is still on 155, and then Russell is on 146 in fourth, and then Leclerc has 119 points, he's in fifth. Hamilton has 91 points, he's in sixth. Antonelli has 63 points, he's in seventh. He did not gain any points as a result of his DNF. And then Albon has 42 points, he's in eighth. Ocon, and he did not gain any points either because of his DNF. Ocon is in ninth with 23 points. Hulkenberg with 22 points is in 10th. And then Hadjar is in 11th with 21 points. Stroll with 14 points in 12th, alongside his teammate Alonso, who now is on level playing field with 14 points, but in 13th position because Stroll got his points first. And then Sainz with 13, he did not gain any points either because of his DNS. And then Lawson, he gained more points now, so he's on 12 in 15th. Gasly has 11 points in 16th. Tsunoda has 10 points in 17th. Behrman still has 6 in 18th. Bortoleto finally has some points in 4th. Colapinto and Doohan are in 20th and 21st respectively with 0 points. Obviously, as we know, Doohan is not going to gain any points anytime soon as he's not driving, unless Colapinto is asked to vacate the seat for Doohan or someone else. But Colapinto still on 0 points. And now the teams, McLaren is on 417 points with Ferrari very far back, but in second with 210 points. Mercedes with 209 points, only 1 point behind Ferrari. Red Bull Racing with 162 points, and then Williams with 55 points, and then Racing Bulls with 36, Haas with 29, Aston Martin with 28, Kick Sauber with 26, and Alpine on 11th in 10th position. So let's close out the Austrian Grand Prix. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of A Formula Amateur, to another race rundown. The next race will be in Silverstone next weekend, so be prepared for another race rundown next Monday. Also check out the episode on Saturday, and don't forget to check out all of my lovely colleagues on the Be The Change Media Network. Don't forget to check out BeTheChangeMediaNetwork.com for all your merch and informational needs. Have a lovely rest of your week, and I will see you on Saturday. Goodbye.